College, Government of Tripura, Shabrum, Tripura. Dr. Dev has received his PhD degree in computer science from University of Calcutta in 2020. He has praiseworthy contribution in the journal as well as conferences of report. He has authored many books also in his name. His current research interest includes process optimization, process mining, as well as quantum computing. With this brief introduction, may I take this privilege to hand over the session to you, sir. Sir, please, the session is yours.
So let me start this session, this second session. Very good afternoon to all of you. Before starting this presentation, let me first of all, I want to thank Jayantupal sir for inviting me in this FDP. I want to thank Otol for sponsoring such an FDP on emerging area. I want to thank the Department of IT Tripura University and the whole fraternity of Tripura University for giving me this opportunity to deliver the lecture in this FDP. So this is the second session of this FDP. This will be regarding the introduction of quantum gate. So before going to this quantum gate, I want to say something, that is, I want to compare it with the traditional digital. I want to explain one digital, that is quantum circuit, with the traditional digital one, so that it becomes interesting and some questions arises to all of us, so that we can move into the next one, that is the details of the quantum gates. So this is a sample, can say, the quantum circuit. Now, if anyone think quantum mechanics sound challenging, that he and she is not alone. Though quantum objects can seem random and chaotic at first, they just follow a different set of rules. Once we know what those rules are, then we can use them to create new and powerful technology. This quantum computing will be most revolutionary example of this. To get started the journey towards quantum computing, let's test which of the following is a correct description of a bit. First one, a blade used by a carpenter. Second, the smallest unit of information, either a 0 or 1, and something you put. And third one is something you put in a horse mouth. So actually, they are all correct. It's a very multi-purpose world. But if you choose the second one, that is the smallest unit of information is either a 0 or 1, the second one, it shows that you are already thinking in the right line. The idea that information can be stored and processed as a series of zeros and ones is quite a big conceptual hurdle, but it's something most people today know without even thinking about it. Taking this as a starting point, we can start to imagine bits that obey the rules of quantum mechanics. These quantum bits or qubits will then allow us to process the information in a new and different way. We'll start diving deeper into the world of qubit. For this, we'll need some way of keeping track of what they are doing when we apply gates. The most powerful way to do this is to use the mathematical language of vector and matrices. Now, going into this qubit and quantum computing, now you can see a binary digit characterized as 0 and 1 is used to represent the information in classical computer. In classical computer technologies, a process bit is implemented by one of the two levels of low DC voltage actually. While switching from one to the other, two levels to the others, and so-called the forbidden zone between two logic levels must be passed as fast as possible, as electrical voltage cannot change from one level to another instantaneously. There are two possible outcomes for the measurement of the qubit, usually taken to have the value 0 and 1, like a bit or binary digit. However, the state of a bit can only be either 0 or 1. The general state of the qubit, according to this quantum mechanics, can be a coherent superposition or both. Moreover, whereas a measurement of a classical bit would not disturb its state, a measurement of qubit would destroy the coherence and disturb the superposition state. It is possible to fully encode one bit to one qubit. However, a qubit can hold more information, as for example, up to 2 bits using superdense coding. For a system of n components, a complete description of its state in classical physics requires n bits, whereas in quantum physics, it requires 2 to the power n minus 1 complex numbers or a single point in a 2 to the power n dimensional vector space. Now, in classical computing, we use the bits 0 and 1, that is obviously deterministic state. But in quantum, we use qubit, which is denoted by this alpha ket 0 plus beta ket 0, where this modulus of alpha square plus beta square equal to 1. Now, in classical computing, we use Boolean algebra, whereas in quantum computing, we use linear algebra. And obviously, in classical computing, we use logical gates, where in case of quantum, we use quantum gates, which basically involves matrix multiplications. Now, in quantum mechanics, the general quantum state of a qubit can be represented by a linear superposition of two orthonormal basis states, or you can say basis vector. These vectors are usually denoted by ket 0 and ket 1, which are written in conventional direct or bracket notation. A pure qubit state is a coherent superposition of basic states. This means that a single qubit can be described by a linear combination of ket 0 and ket 1. This here this alpha and beta are basically the probability amplitude, and both are complex, and where this modulus of alpha square plus beta square equal to 1. This can be represented in Bloch sphere also. This alpha equal to this cos theta by 2, and this beta equal to e I phi by sin theta by 2. Now, if we want to, suppose we want to design a quantum circuit, okay, so the basic things we need to have, or we should have the knowledge about the linear algebra, then matrices, then vector, and from the software point of view, for the simulation purpose, we should have the idea of Python and Jupyter Notebook. These are the prerequisite for this. Now, let me make a comparison of a standard digital circuit, computer or circuit, you can say, with a quantum. We want to develop one quantum circuit, which is gives the equivalent result of this digital circuit. Now, as this is a very well-known circuit in digital computer. This is a half-adder circuit. You see, that is having the input A and B, and the OR gate and AND gate, and giving the sum and carry. Now, we want to represent or want to have a quantum circuit which gives the analogous and the equivalent result for this. Now, before going to this for developing this one, now let me go to this IBM quantum experience and show you how to create an account and run the codes for generating and visualizing the circuits. I think this will make the lecture more useful, and this can be used later on this FDP. So let's move to the simulation part. Now, we'll use Qiskit, and which is available in you can see that is quantum-computing.ibm.com. You can open it. I'm pasting this URL into the browser and we'll get this one. So we can log in into this IBM this IBM experience or for using this QSkit. Now you can log in using your Gmail ID also, or you can create your own ID. So I am using this my Gmail ID for logging into this. Just wait. This is logging in. Okay. So here you can see two things are there. One is Launch Composer, another is Launch Lab. So I'll now another thing is here. This is the API token. This is the you can copy you can keep a copy of this and use it if you install the QSkit locally. That means this QSkit, this simulator, this can be used locally for using it locally in your desktop computer or laptop. You need to have Python in your computer as well as the Jupyter notebook and QSkit installed. And while doing the programs or simulating the things, now you need to put this API token there. And another way, directly doing into the cloud. So I am here using the cloud directly. So launch the lab. I'm launching the lab. So it will take I think, your time. Let us wait. Just it is taking some time. Yes, here it is. Here it is. So you can go to the file and open new and open this QSkit notebook. I'm clicked QSkit notebook. So it will take some time for initial. It is done. Now let me go to my slide. Now you see this is the first. This will be our first quantum circuit. So three things will for a circuit we need to do. First, we need to encode the inputs, then do some actual computation, and finally extract the output. Now here is the code for building the circuit. Now if you yes, now there's the code here. I have already I have written the codes in my Word so that the things get quicker. So you can see the code. Okay, so run the code, run selected cells. Okay, this has been executed. Next, this will be our first quantum circuit. Let me copy this code and paste it here. And this run. Now here, after running this one, you can see our first actually the quantum circuit. Okay, so here the inputs from Q0 to Q7, none one is encoded, and the meter-like symbol, the black color was, is for measurement. So this circuit actually will do nothing, just a sample one, so that the thing get interesting, and we can visualize the thing, and we get queries in our mind, so that we can get prepared for the next things. Okay, so this is our first quantum circuit. Now moving forward in my slide, now you can see the result of that circuit. This is the code for that result of this previous circuit. Now let me copy this code and paste it here. we can visualize the result, what this circuit do. And selected cell, you can see actually this circuit is doing nothing. So this 0, the probability is 1 and the result is 0. So this is shown in histogram. So let me move forward. So creating an adder circuit. Now that was the what I have shown. That was a sample, very simple sample quantum circuit. Now we'll go forward to create an adder circuit in quantum, using quantum concept. Now the three things we need to do, that is the first encoding the inputs, then doing some computation and extracting the result. So let me encode the input, copy this code and put it into our simulator. Run it. Yes, this has been encoded. This input 7 has been encoded. Now you can extract the result. Yes, this is the result. Now let me combine the circuits and the result. Let me copy this. It. Yes, this is the circuit and this is the result. Now you can do another encoding, that is we have encoded the input number 8 actually, Q7. Now we can have a different encoding of the different inputs. Okay, so let me show this. You can visualize this one so that it becomes easy to understand. See, this Q3, Q1 and Q5 is encoded. Here you can see the code, that is QC encode X1 and QC encode X5. So input Q1 and Q5 is then encoded. Now adding with the adding with Qiskit. Now traditionally in the study of digital computation, it is seen that is we use the XOR gate. The inputs this you can see in the table, the whatever what we get in traditional computer. Now in quantum computer, the job of this XOR gate is done by the control NOT gate actually. Since this is quite a long name, we usually use just call it CNOT gate, and in Qiskit its name is CX, which is even shorter. So adding with Qiskit, now we are using basically CNOT gate. Now you can visualize this CNOT gate, how it looks like. And now let me copy this code. I can visualize the CNOT gate for half adder circuit, but it's not complete. Yes, this is the CNOT gate. This is the CNOT gate. So let me put this. Run selected cells. Yes. This is the two measures of the input. Q0 is encoded, and this is C0 with C1, Q1, and the measure like meter like symbols, the black color. This extracts the output. Now, here is the table showing the possible inputs and the corresponding outputs of the CNOT gate. Now, for our this half adder circuit, we do not actually want to overwrite one of our inputs. Instead, we want to write the results of different pairs of qubit. For this, we can use two CNOTs. Now, if you use two CNOTs, the circuit will look like this. Let me copy this code again. This new one. Here we will use two CNOT gate instead of one. Now we are using just not to overwrite the result. So we are using this two CNOT gate, and the corresponding measures are recorded. Okay. Now we are actually in the halfway of full working of this half adder actually. Now if you look again at the four possible sums, you will notice that there is only one case for which this is 1 instead of 0. That is 1 plus 1 equal to 1 0. It happens only when both the bits we are adding are 1. So we need a new gate like CNOT, but controlled on 2 qubits instead of just 1. This will perform a NOT on the target qubit only when both the controls are in state 1. This new gate is called the Toffoli, this Toffoli gate. For those actually, as you know, this Boolean logic gates. So this is similar to the basically an AND gate. Now let me look at this code and run this in our simulator Qiskit. Then you can visualize this Toffoli as well. Yes, this one, last one is the Toffoli gate. So we are using two CNOT gate. Then first Q1 and Q2 is been encoded. Then we are using two CNOT gate, and then Toffoli gate and a meter-like symbol to record the outputs. So this is basically I have shown this basically to make a interest and on this so that we can go to these gates in detail. So this was the last one is the actually the half adder circuit in quantum, using quantum concept. Now we'll cover the gates and operation that changes the qubit between the states. Now the quantum gates are actually the unitary operators and described as an unitary matrices related to some basis. Usually we use the computational basis, and unless we compare with something, we just mean that at the D level quantum systems we have level this in orthogonal basis vector. So we'll come across some gates and use them to perform the classical computation. And important features of quantum circuit is that between initializing the qubits and measuring them, the operations of gates are always reversible. These reversible gates are represented as matrix and as rotation between around the Bloch sphere. Here these some examples of these single qubit gates. The first one is the Police X gate. Now we are familiar with the Police matrix from the linear algebra. If anyone want to have the details of that, so we can refresh our linear algebra part so that we can get again refresh our Police matrices. We'll see here the Police matrix can be represented in very commonly used quantum gates. This X gate is represented by Police X matrix. To see the fact a gate has on a qubit, we simply multiply the qubits state vectors by the gate. we can see that the X gate switches the amplitude of the state cat 0 and cat 1. Now in QuizKit, we can create a short circuit to verify this one. That means to verify this and see this Police X gate. So to visualize this Police X gate in QuizKit simulator, we have the codes for that. Let me run that and show this Police X gate in our simulator. I have a code for that. Let me show you. Yes. Let me copy this and to show the Police X gate. Run this electric cell. Now this you see this is the Police X gate in QuizKit simulator. Now next is the Police Z gate and Y gate. Now similar to this X gate, the Y and Z Police matrices also acts as an Y and Z gates in our quantum circuit. And surprisingly, they are respectively perform the rotation by pi around this Y and Z axis of the Bloch sphere. We can see or visualize this Police Z gate also. So let me show this. Police Y and Z. This is Police Y and Z gates. Now you can see the commands for that. Let me try another thing. Yes, this is the Bloch sphere. Now you can see for the rotation of this spinning of this for X, for Y, for Z gate. And these are the corresponding transformation matrices for Police X, Y, and Z gates. From this. Now, another example of the single qubit gate is the Hadamard gate, and the transformation matrix is shown here. You can see this. Now, we can also play with this Hadamard gate. You can visualize it in QuizKit. Into this XYZ, another gate will be added as the Hadamard gate. Okay. This one is for the Hadamard gate. Next one is the P gate. This P gate is parameterized, that is, it needs a number of sorry, to tell it exactly what to do. The P gate performs the rotation around this z-axis direction. It is the matrix form of this P gate is here. You can see this. Now we can specify this P gate using this P in Qiskit. Now this is the P gate. Now the next is the I gate. First, it comes the I gate, or you can say this is the identity gate. This is simply a gate that basically does nothing. Its matrix is the identity matrix. Now, when to use it, applying this identity gate anywhere in your circuit should have no effect on this qubit state, but still it is useful. So that it's interesting that even considered a gate, there are two main reasons behind this. One of this often used for calculation, for example, proving the X gate in its own inverse. And second, it is often useful when considering the real hardware to specify a do nothing or none operation. The next gate to mention is the S gate. This is a P gate with pi by 2. It does the quarter turn around the Bloch sphere. It is important to note that unlike every gate introduced here so far, this S gate is not its own inverse. This S gate is clearly a P gate with minus pi by 2. So here is the transformation matrix for this S gate. Now you can visualize this S gate and Qiskit. Yes, this is the S gate. This is the S gate. Now another one is the T gate. The T gate is very commonly used gate. It is an P gate with pi by 4. Now the transformation matrix are here. Now in Qiskit, you can apply this to visualize this one, this T gate. This is the T gate. Now using these gates, we can build up this quantum circuit. Now here actually we are using the Qiskit in the cloud one, in a cloud form. Now I have also experimented it in by locally installing it. For this I have installed the Python and as well as the Jupyter notebook, and I installed this Qiskit, downloaded this Qiskit and configure it with Python, and we run it and using this API token, whatever we got in from the IBM experience. Okay, so in addition to this, I want to show you on now I want to share some links for this so that you can study and go into the deeper of this emerging topic. This is one is you can see this quizkit.org documentation. Get started. You can click on this link to go into the details, step by step details of this. So I'm showing from the browser itself so that it becomes helpful, because it is not possible to cover the whole thing. Just we can discuss the roadmap and few things here so that we can study and progress in this emerging area. Now, this is the quizkit.org. Now, to get started, now you can see how it can be. This is shown here how it can be stored, start locally or start in the cloud. And this second part I have shown. Okay, and you can start it locally also. For this, we need to have this Ubuntu, then this Windows 7 or this later version for this. Now you need to install download this quizkit, and you can see the commands. How can you can configure the environment in Python. This conda create -n, this environment name equal to Python 3, and this conda activity is equal to, that is conda active environment underscore name. Then you can pip install this quizkit. So quizkit will be installed, as well as you need to install this quizkit visualization so that you can see the results in histogram form, or the circuits that will be shown. Otherwise, the circuits will not be visualized. So we can for installing locally, you can follow this manual, and for starting on the cloud, we can see this so that we can do it in cloud also. Now, I'm showing the tutorial for that. Now you can see that is a quizkit and textbook. This is a single qubit gates. Now you can see what are the prerequisites for this. This is a very good manual for using this quizkit and building these quantum circuits. Now, how to set up the environment is given here, as I have discussed also. So this is about the Python and the Jupyter notebook. You should have some knowledge about this Python. You need to learn the people from the other background need to go through the Python commands also. Now, next you can see the quantum, everything is here, quantum states and qubits, then multiple qubit and multiple, regarding this multiple qubit, then quantum protocols and quantum algorithms. Then what are these, the Shor's algorithm, then Grover's algorithm, whatever Sir has told about about this in the first session. This can be executed, how it can be executed using this quizkit, because until and unless we simulate and see the things, so it becomes actually the virtual thing. The thing is itself complicated and virtual. So we need to visualize and the things so that it becomes interesting. Next is quantum algorithms for applications. Then investigating the quantum hardware with quantum circuit. So we'll go. So this is what I have explained here. This is basically the starting phase. So we can go on exploring this so that we can go into the deeper of this thing. So that's all for this session. Okay, thank you. If you have any query, you can write to me in this email, and in this phone number also. You can WhatsApp or call me. So we all are in the actually the starting phase, and the things are coming in the future. So we need to ready for that, and we need to go on reading and doing research work on this. So hope we'll do this. and continue learning. Thank you.
Thank you, sir, for your this expert session and your valuable time that has